It's been 2 months since Baby Bell joined us. The fragmented sleep due to the chaotic night feeds is definitely one of the hardest things I've had to deal with. I've watched too many hours of YouTube video telling me how to get the baby into a good night's sleep, but none of them actually tell me how to deal with the 3 a.m. feeds. Well, this video does exactly that. I'll share with you the observe, wait, and respond protocol that I've developed that allowed us to get quick night feeds from pickup to back to the crib in just under 20 minutes, and that's worked really well for us over the past couple of weeks. Welcome to the Parenting Lab. I'm Ifan, a computer scientist turned tech founder, and now, most recently, a dad to a beautiful 2-month-old baby girl, Belle. I'm not here to retell the grandma says or midwife myth. Everything I share are based on research and data so that we can remove as much guesswork as possible from parenting. Now, let's go get our night's sleep back. First, you gotta make sure that you're at least following the basic safe sleeping standards, and that means back to sleep, firm flat surface, clear sleeping space, room sharing for at least the first couple of months. The next few are not necessary, but I found really helpful. Keeping a dark room and ideally use blackout curtains if you can. During night feeds, use a dim light that doesn't shine directly into the baby's eye. Secondly, keep the room quiet. But white noises are fine. If you've got a spare phone or spare tablet to keep around for white noise to help them sleep, that is also massively helpful. Now that we have the basic setup, we first have to understand how baby sleep are so chaotic. Latest research have shown that baby sleep are so much different to that of adults. And even for babies beyond 4-month-old and under 4-month-old, they are very different. Today, we are very much focusing on the newborn sleep. We first have to understand how their sleep cycle breaks down. It mainly comes in 2 phases. There's active sleep and quiet sleep. Quiet sleep is fairly obvious, where they are pretty much stationary during that time, and then their breathing pattern is quite regular. Active sleep is where it gets interesting, where movements and noises are all fairly normal, but all of that happens with their eyes closed. From time to time, you might even notice their eyeballs rolling with their eyelids closed, and that's all normal. From all of the research, we can clearly see that. You cannot use movement or noise alone as a single deciding factor to decide whether they are going to wake or not. So what do we do next? When it's 3 a.m., we want our decision protocol to be as simple as possible. And that's how I arrived at the observe, wait, and respond. It goes like this. When you hear a noise or movement coming from the crib or from the baby monitor, if you haven't gone to sleep yet, watch the movements to see how long it lasts. If it lasts for longer than 1 minute, you keep observing. And then after that movement ends, start a timer. Do they have another movement session during the next 5 minutes? If it goes quiet for another 5 without new sessions, you know that they are likely have gone back to sleep again. The most important thing here is the wait as part of the protocol. That said, there's one thing that you should never wait on, which is if you ever feel like your baby is in distress, or if anything feels abnormal, trust your parental instinct and do whatever you feel necessary to do the check. The rest of the rules does not apply here. But those are the extreme cases. Back to the normal case. When you join this data together with when their last feed was and their last diaper change, the decision becomes super easy to make. There's another thing to notice from latest research though. Babies seldomly wake up for diaper needs. Their most frequent needs for here is feeding, and that accounts for more than 60% of all of their wakings. So here, your decision becomes even easier because you know that most of the time, this is due to the likely need of feeds. At this point, you're probably wondering, every baby is different. How does your number actually apply to my baby? After all of the research I've done, this is the data that's synthesized directly from what I've observed from Belle and what I found from latest research. But there is still a way to tailor everything to your baby's specific needs. It's a bit more effort, but trust me, it'll be worth it. This is how I arrived at the concise data point for Belle. I decided to sacrifice a few nights of my sleep and stayed up until 3 a.m. I watched Belle in the baby monitor as I worked on the side and then noted down every single one of her movements and noise she made during the night sessions. After a few days of monitoring, patterns quickly started emerging. I noticed the closer she was to waking, the more she moved and the more intensely she moved. Initially, the number I found was movements that was of 1 to 2 minutes long, and then that was happening more than once within a 5 minute window. That was the big telltale sign. The engineer inside of me was yelling at me and wanted a bit more concrete data. I decided to geek out quite a bit further and use this little chip, a Raspberry Pi Zero, together with a camera module, mounted on top of the crib to monitor every single one of Baby Belle's move for the coming week. After analyzing all of that data, I realized she was even more active during her sleep than I had initially thought. Putting those numbers in the Excel spreadsheet, had I realized that the 1 minute movement duration timer and the 5 minute movement window were the best numbers to preempt when to pick her up for the best drowsy feeds. Because when you use movement and frequency to make the decision, you can do it before they are fully awake, but it's at a time when they are close enough to waking that you're not disrupting their sleep cycles. After applying this method, I was able to get Belle with pick up, feed, diaper change, back to crib within 20 minutes, 4 out of 5 times out of all of the night feed I've dealt with over the past month. And that's been incredibly effective. There you have it. That's the observe, wait, and respond protocol that we developed. Try it tonight. If you have the time, I strongly recommend you to spend that time, note down their movement, note down their noises, and trust me, patterns will emerge faster than you think. Comment below with your baby's noisiest sleeping sound. I really want to know whether Baby Belle's grunt is normal or did we just end up with one of the loud ones. If you found the content of the video helpful, do like and subscribe and comment below. Until then, I hope you get a better night's sleep tonight than last, and I'll see you in the next one.